So why is it this piece of plastic is so important in Denmark? Let me take you back to the start, when Jacob arrived in Denmark. When you arrive in Denmark, the first thing you must do is get your yellow card.
Hey!
So yeah, this is Jacob.
Hi everyone. I'm gonna give you a rundown of my experience getting a yellow card, which is important for living and working here in Denmark. I am currently on a working holiday visa for 1 year here in Denmark, which is an agreement between the Danish government and the New Zealand government to allow young professionals or young adults like myself between the ages of 18 and 31 to travel to the respective countries, either a New Zealander to Denmark or a Danish citizen to New Zealand, and we can work and live for 1 year. The details are a little bit more in depth than that, because you can work for a total of 6 months during the 1 year stay, but you can only work for an employer for up to 3 months.
So I had the same rules when I was in New Zealand on a working holiday visa.
It is, after all, a working holiday visa, so you are expected to have a lot of holiday during your time trying to find work. And I would recommend that anyone who is thinking of doing a working holiday visa to Denmark or any other country, that you apply from your home country ideally. But you can also have your visa application process done while in Denmark, because New Zealand citizens can stay in Denmark for up to 90 days. I think it's a much better idea to get it all out of the way before you even start venturing to Denmark. So just be aware that if you are wanting to apply for a working holiday visa, you will have to show a bank statement and the amount that the Danish government have set. So 24,000 to prove that you can support yourself before you get a job in Denmark. And you also need enough money to buy a ticket home, which they have listed as 5,000 kroner.
This is not enough.
But that is not enough for a ticket to New Zealand. So at least it's quite a low amount for that. When you apply, there is a fee that you have to pay. 1,890 Danish kroner. So that is the only fee that you pay at the beginning. Everything else, the other financial information that you need to provide, does not involve you making any payments. And you also need to have insurance that covers hospitalization and
the full year in Denmark.
For the full year, definitely. There are a few other restrictions to your visa. It is primarily a working holiday visa, remember? So you cannot open your own business, for example, and your family cannot apply for residency based on the fact that you are a resident in Denmark, because it's only a temporary residency.
So other countries have similar rules, but the amount of money you need in your bank account can be different, and the work with the 6 months and 3 months can also be different. How to get the yellow card is similar for everybody, but the most important thing you need to be able to apply for a yellow card is to have a place of residence. And you are lucky that you knew me, and I had a spare room just when you arrived, so you could stay here.
The most important thing is, once you have your place of residence, that within 5 days of moving in and it officially becoming your place of residence, you must go to Borgerservice and apply for your yellow card. That is actually stated on the visa, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Finally, I just think it's important to mention that when you move into a house or an apartment somewhere in Denmark, you need to have your name on the letterbox. Very important, as I have learnt. You need to have your full name on the letterbox of your address, so that when you apply for your yellow card, they can actually mail it to you.
Where are we going?
We're heading off to Borgerservice so I can get myself registered as a resident in Denmark for the next year. And that means I need to register my address, because I now have a place to live here in the city of Herning, and after we've done that, I can get my ID card. What's that called?
Sygesikring.
Yeah, that thing.
The yellow card.
The yellow card, as it has been given a nickname. And yeah, and that's the first step for me to be able to live as a resident here in Denmark. So let's see how it goes.
Monday, the 15th of August, I thought I booked a time to register you as a citizen in Denmark and to actually get your yellow card. And we walked down there and walked in through the doors, and they didn't have the appointment. It was not registered, it was not approved, and instead I had to book a new appointment for a week later. That was the earliest time they had. So all this preparation we have done, and I've called them, and I really thought this was the day, and we had planned out the next week, that this week was about getting the yellow card, finding a job and all that. It got washed out in the water, and instead we decided to go to Skagen. And
which I think was a good use of our time.
Yeah. I then booked a new time for the 22nd of August, and it got confirmed, which was very important. So what you can take away with this is remember that your time is confirmed, so you don't get set back a week. Going to the new meeting. Yay!
We went in to Borgerservice on the 22nd of August and everything ran smoothly this time. Our booking was actually confirmed. We walked straight in and we went over to a lady who assisted us, and it was very easy. She took my documents that I needed to provide, which are your passport and your document of residency, or your visa document. Whoever is assisting you will go photocopy those documents, and you're then left to fill out a form. And the form basically requires you to write down your name, your old address, wherever you last resided, your new address in Denmark.
Very important.
Very important.
That's how you receive your yellow card.
Yes, and your yellow card actually has your address written on it as well. And that's why it's the most important thing to have an address. You can mention your social status, you can mention your gender, your birth date, and you can choose a doctor. Very interesting that you can choose your doctor at a government ministry, rather than it being a private decision that you can make all by yourself, which is the case in New Zealand.
Well, you can also change it on Borger.
Okay. But it seems for new residents like myself, the place where you choose your doctor is actually in the Borgerservice when you are applying for your yellow card.
So that went fairly well.
Yeah, it went very well, I think.
And now all there is to do is to wait 3 weeks for the mail to arrive with your yellow card.
Yep.
And she booked us a new appointment to get your MitID and MitID, which is net security.
Yeah.
So why is it this piece of plastic is so important in Denmark? Well, it is some kind of ID, therefore you see all these black lines. But we use it for almost everything. We especially use it for the doctors because it is a health card, as the new nickname or the new name for it is Sundhedskort, health card. So we use it when we check in at the doctors, but it also gets us a subsidy. It also gets us subsidy at the dentist, or when we have some medicine provided for us, or physiologies, or so on. We also use it as a library card, and you use it for the Borgerservice, so you use it quite a lot. But for Jacob, you need it to actually open a bank account, because on here there is a CPR number, which is a personal ID number, which you need to use for checking into your bank. So the appointment we have in 3 weeks is about bank security and net security.
Yeah.
And we can't do that before he has his CPR number, and the CPR number comes with the Yellowcard. So he needs the CPR number to get a bank account, a SIM card. You can get a SIM card without the CPR number, but the providers you can get with a CPR number, it's just better, I think. Or it's providers I know of. And you needed to log on to your borger if you want to register your address, or if you're moving, or stuff like that. So it's very important. It takes a long time. It takes at least a month to get everything sorted out, maybe longer. So keep that in mind and remember to book your appointment, and we will be back when Jacob actually have his Yellowcard. Hey Jacob!
Hey!
What's that in your pocket?
Ah, you mean this?
Yes, congrats on your Yellowcard.
Thanks. It means I now have Danish residency. And if you want to learn more about life in Denmark, stay tuned.